Hey y'all, it's Joe. We're under the shade tree today. I'm coming to you from the cab of Ethel, or Ethel's cab, however you want to say it, forward, backwards, whichever. Uh, the deal is, it's just too gosh darn windy out here right now. The wind's just blowing 90 miles to nothing, and it's Oklahoma. Everybody knows why the wind blows in Oklahoma. It's Kansas blows and Texas sucks. Sorry, Aaron and Emily. I'm just kidding on y'all. I know you find folks down there at Flying Sparks Garage. You do a fantastic job. And I'm kidding on you. I've got no room to talk. I'm a transplant from Arizona. But nobody wants to go ahead and hear all this wind while I'm out here trying to talk. I mean, there's so much blowing going on. It's like lot lizard night with Flying J. So the long and short of it is, this morning I was watching Puddin's Fab.
Market. We're always putting money in our pocket, putting junk in your driveway. This 79 Chevy is this week's What's Not to Love special. The baby blue paint's guaranteed to catch your eyes.
And it got me to thinking. Back to my younger miscreant days, my wasted youth. He's got a spitting image of my buddy's turquoise blue Datsun B210. And I saw that picture, and it just took me right back to my high school days, back in Cave Creek, Arizona. I'm going to go ahead and leave last names out because, statute of limitations may or may not be up. But back in my high school days, we used to have to go ahead and ride the school bus in from Cave Creek down to Scottsdale because Cave Creek didn't have its own high school. And so we had the bus in. It was like an hour-long bus ride, but with all the stops and everything else. But the long and short of it was that if you had a buddy that had a car, you could go ahead and catch a ride down there. And so one morning, I'm catching a ride with my buddy Billy and his little Datsun B210. Gary is driving his dad's big Suburban four-wheel drive, and we're talking like old school 78 Suburban, 77 because it had the gold trim around the gold stripe within the body line on it. So anyway, that being said, Gary's younger brother Todd was riding in Billy's front seat. I'm sitting in the back, and not Carefree Drive, Tom Darlington Drive, which went through Carefree, which is like the sistering city of Cave Creek. I mean, these towns are like literally side by side, all 2,500 people. Anyway, Tom Darlington Drive comes down, and it's 2 lanes, and then it goes into 1 lane where Tom Darlington becomes Scottsdale Road. The right lane becomes a right turn only, and the left lane is a southbound lane straight in towards Scottsdale. And so, as luck turned out, Gary and Billy decided they're going to race that morning. And okay, it's a Datsun B210. How quick is it? Well, it's a crap ton faster than the 78 four-wheel drive Suburban weighing in like 6,500 pounds. So they're both shagging butt heading down for the 1 lane. And Billy goes ahead and squeaks on past. And just maybe half a mile, not even past where it singles down to 1 lane on Scottsdale Road, it goes into a set of sweeping 90-degree S-turns. And Billy's wide open. I mean, he's every bit of 90 or whatever that little 210 would do when we go into these turns. And Gary knew this is coming, and so he backs off. There's no way that Suburban's going to hook through the turns. And he figured he's going to find us splattered out in the desert somewhere. Well, Billy does the best that he can, but he can't hold the car on the road. And so he goes off the road on the outside shoulder and starts drifting on the graded desert sand at wide open throttle, trying to go ahead and gather this car back up. And gosh bless him, the dude could drive. I mean, probably one of the few times in my entire life I've been afraid in a vehicle. And I'm sitting in the back seat thinking, do I light a cigarette or do I not light a cigarette? Well, I probably shouldn't, because if we completely lose it and go tumbling off into the desert, gasoline's going to be flying everywhere and it's going to be a big fireball, and I'm not going to be responsible for that. So So, of course, I quit smoking, but that was a long time ago. Anyway, but this B210 was that turquoise blue, the same wood that's on Puddin's Fab Shop. The cars were identical. And so that's what got me to thinking. But anyway, Billy managed to go ahead and gather it up, and all Gary saw was this huge dust cloud, and he stopped and was looking, trying to go ahead and find bits and pieces of car out in the desert. Meanwhile, we're miles down the road headed to school, and so when we got to school, we had a good laugh. But yeah, that was the one time that I thought for sure I was bought and paid for. So anyway, y'all have a fantastic afternoon. I did go ahead and find a new Jeep motor, a new used Jeep motor. Since the other one is cracked, we figured out that with cracks on either side of the water jacket, I didn't think about it, but this thing had 2 frost plugs in it that had been replaced with block heaters or heating elements. So that Jeep that it had been in came from the northern climates and was probably rusted smooth out. But with the block heaters in there, it was obviously someplace that got very cold for a long period of time. And more likely than not, whatever coolant was in it was subpar and caused the block to freeze, which is why there's cracks on either side of the water jacket, one in the cylinder wall and one into the pushrod gallery. So that being the case, okay, fine. You know, $100 more or less down the drain, but in reality, I got $100 cylinder head out of it, so I'm not really that bad off. In the meanwhile, I did go ahead and pick up another motor yesterday. It's got 200,000 miles on it, but it was running and driving. The Jeep that it was in was losing transmission. When you get hot, or when it got hot driving down the road after about 30 miles or so, the transmission would just quit pulling. So knowing that about it, I know the engine itself is good. It's a greasy, nasty mess, and I'm going to go ahead and get out the pressure washer probably tomorrow and clean that up because, again, it's just ridiculous windy out here today. And, you know, I can work in it, but I don't feel like wearing all of the grease and nastiness that's going to go ahead and blast off that engine. Now, I am going to go ahead and strip it down as much as I can today. It's got the transmission still attached to it. The guy selling it said, you know what, transmission's no good. I don't care. Go ahead, take it with you. It'll get you out here that much quicker. Sure, whatever. You know, I'll go ahead and sell it as a core transmission. It's not a big deal. The two-wheel drive XJ transmissions are a little bit harder to come by, so somebody probably does want it for a core, and you know, it's worth that. So anyway, like I said, y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Stay safe, be good to each other, and we'll talk to you next time. This is Joe from Underneath the Shade Tree. Remember, community, not competition. Check out Coastal Auto Reaction. The guys up there in Canada are doing a fantastic job trying to go ahead and get the message out. It's about going ahead and sharing these YouTube channels, the smaller channels that are automotive based. I mean, if there's one that you guys like, go ahead and pass it along to your friends. You know, share that information. It's all out there. We're not trying to go ahead and one-up each other. It's a matter of going ahead and trying to go ahead and help all these channels grow. I'm not funded by anybody. This is something I do on a side. This is a non-funded, non-sponsored channel. There's no monetary value to this. Hey, this is cheap entertainment or free entertainment, so you get what you pay for. You know, that being said, I got I have 26 subscribers, so there's that. Some of the other guys, that they're getting in their hundreds and their thousands and whatnot, and that's fantastic. You know, and granted, they've been doing it a lot longer. This is me with my cell phone and sometimes a tripod working in the wind and the weather and whatever else we got. I try and go ahead and give y'all useful information when I can. I try and be entertaining sometimes when I can, you know, whatever. But like I said, check them out. Marco's Garage, Robert's Garage, Straight Six Fan, Backyard Alaskan's another channel I like. Katarina's Garage, young lady up in Canada that does a fantastic job messing with her Mustangs. Gosh, there's so many I can't hardly keep track of them. Puddin's Fab Shop, love this guy. I mean, he's a neighbor of sorts over about an hour away in another part of Oklahoma. Jacking with John up in northwest Oklahoma, back where I got my law enforcement start in Oklahoma. So there's that. Goodness gracious, what else? What else? There's so many, I can't keep track of them all. Guys, if I've forgotten you, I do apologize. Sobering Restorations, another good channel. A lot of creativity going on there. So, guys, again, if I've missed you, if I've overlooked you, I'm having brain lock like I normally do when I go ahead and start doing this. It's nothing personal, believe me. I get into these channels. DeVos Garage, he does a lot of fantastic stuff. If you're into the diesel scene, he does a lot of interesting builds. At least I find it interesting. The guy knows, he knows his stuff. So it's not just Cummins, it's not just Ford. I mean, he does just about all of it. So anyway, that being said, I'm going to quit yammering on here. Like I said, y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Be good to each other. Like, share, subscribe. If you like what I've got going on, great. Pass it along. If there's something you see that you don't like, hey, let me know. It's not a big deal. All this nastiness behind me is part of my goal. This white paint is peeling and flaking and whatnot, and I want to go back to the original factory industrial gray inside of here, but I got to get rid of this white paint first because whoever splattered it up on there did a poor job, and it shows. Anyway, y'all be safe, be good. We'll see ya.